front end or a broken windshield to please call Crime Stoppers. A Northeast Mississippi attorney has filed a lawsuit against United Furniture Industries claiming the
Now that's a handmade masterpiece. Jack's, all about the South.
Welcome back. We have updates now on a developing story. We now know the name of the man killed after being hit by a driver who left the scene of that Columbus crash. This happened Monday night just before midnight on 7th Avenue North near 21st Street North. Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says 58-year-old Derek Seals of Columbus died at the scene. Seals had apparently been walking his dog when this crash happened. Investigators say he was struck by a dark-colored car. Police are now asking you if you notice a car with damage to the front end or a broken windshield to please call Crime Stoppers. A Northeast Mississippi attorney has filed a lawsuit against United Furniture Industries claiming the company violated federal labor law when it fired all of its workers last week. Allie Martins talked to the attorney, Casey Lott, and has details now on the lawsuit and what could happen going forward.
We have one client who is a cancer patient who now can't pay for her cancer medication because her health insurance has been terminated and United isn't offering its employees COBRA coverage.
This is just one story attorney Casey Lott says his firm has heard about from former employees of United Furniture Industries, which also owns Lane Furniture. Within a day after United Furniture Industries employees were notified by text or email that they no longer had jobs, Lott of Boonville-based Langston & Lott sued the furniture maker, alleging violation of the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, also known as the WARN Act.
So the WARN Act applies to employers who employ more than 100 employees, and United well exceeds that threshold. And the WARN Act requires employers, large employers such as United, to give at least 60 days notice of their intent to initiate a mass layoff.
Lott says his firm is getting 50 to 75 calls every day from former UFI employees asking about their legal options. The lawsuit has been filed in the U.S. District Court of North Mississippi. He also says the court has been asked to certify the case as a class action lawsuit. If that happens, the lawsuit would proceed on behalf of all 2,700 former employees.
If the case is not certified as
Ordinary.
Green's Christmas shop in historic downtown Tupelo is guaranteed to make Santa's job fun.
Now temperatures ranging anywhere from the upper 30s to the 40s. It's 45 in Columbus and Macon, 44 in West Point, 41 in Starkville, 45 also in Tupelo, and 39 right now up to our northwest in Oxford. Now as we continue through the night, we'll make our way out of the 40s, heading down through the 30s towards the lower 30s. We're expecting to see 31 as our overnight low temperature tonight. So that is below freezing. And with these mainly clear skies and less wind, we can expect to see a little bit of freeze on our grass, on our flower areas as we wake up tomorrow morning. So maybe you back into the 60s Friday and Saturday as that rain chance moves back in, dropping to the low to mid 50s as we hit Sunday. So if you are heading to that Columbus parade, throw on a light jacket as we begin next week. Monday and Tuesday temperatures back in the low to mid 70s before dropping Wednesday to the low 60s. Andrea.
Mississippi State men's basketball continues to shine on the defensive side of the ball, but ahead, Coach Chris Jans isn't satisfied. Cam.
Guys, all right. In a world this connected,
Portable.
Your WCDI Sports with Cam Dyer is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Mississippi State men's basketball is off to its best start since freshman running back Quinshon Judge.
Folks, when you're looking for
all of our services are free. Services are free, and we have a staff that's waiting to take care of you. Bell and Associates, all things financial. It's your money, your life, and your legacy.
The problem worse, and it should be more fair.
Okay, but Katie, there are economists who say that the profit margins existed before inflation did. When there were low inflation rates, you had the exact same profit margins. And also, when we are in an economic downturn and people aren't spending as much, profits are much...
The best idea is to learn to love it.
Much lower. So, you know, what Marie is sort of implying is that the government should get involved, because when corporations are too greedy, and I don't know who determines that,
take your point.
Then there should be some level of intervention to right the ship.
No, the government is far too involved already in the private economy when it comes to prices.
Your voice matters.
The reason why corporations have to raise...
I talk to TV.
Their prices on everyday products is because the war on energy, Biden's war on energy, has made everything more expensive to get from either the ground or from overseas onto a ship, onto a truck, and to its location at the store. And the other thing is the reason why you're seeing, quote, record profits.
I tell hilarious jokes with a ring of truth.
As a side effect of inflation is because profits are what you have left over. It's something you can use as a company to then reinvest into your business. Companies are not taking that risk because they're looking ahead at the next couple of years and saying, there's no way we're going to spend this money because we want to still be a company and a business and a corporation, and we don't want to go bankrupt and have everybody lose their jobs and lose the company as a result of economic uncertainty. It's the same thing you see with the energy environment. These companies are not...
Incapacitate or disorient violent, armed, or dangerous suspects. But it goes down to this next thing. We can train robots to do this or direct them to do this. Next comes robot parking attendants, right? Next comes robot... we already have robots essentially that do speeding tickets, but next we have, next we have robots who chase shoplifters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a lot of major cities, and I live in one of them, there are already robots doing things like DoorDash deliveries or food deliveries. There's just a little thing that kind of trundles up in front of your house, and it drops this stuff off. So there's no way that the technology is not going to get there. Same with drones. We've seen this played out in the military context, right? It started with simple stuff like Predator drones. Now we have these cheap little quadcopters that are being used in the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. The technology is going to get there. And the only question that there's going to be is, are we going to have some rules about how that technology is used, or is the only rule going to be you can do what...
Everything you need to know.
With so much
much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Has reportedly been moved to a prison hospital. He hasn't been able to contact his family in a week, according to his brother. The lack of communication is raising serious concerns. Paul Whelan is serving a brutal 16-year sentence in a remote penal colony in Mordovia, the same region where Brittany Griner is currently in a penal colony. Up front now, David Whelan, Paul Whelan's brother. And David, when was the last time that anyone in your family heard from Paul?
The day before Thanksgiving, and he had regular phone calls with them for quite a while, and it was just an average call, things that were going on in the prison colony, and things that he wanted to hear about from our mom and dad.
And I know he has made a long-standing point of, if I don't call every few days, and that's been the rules that he's been allowed to, then something's wrong. And obviously now it's been a full week, and I understand the Russians are telling you that he was sent to a prison hospital nearly 2 weeks ago. Obviously, that would mean that he would have called you from that hospital.
This hospital is expecting me to follow the points. What I'm expecting is for a bitch that's using my Constitution to come over here and say this shit to my motherfucking face. Because you ain't got no rights in this space if you following my Constitution. All your rights dropped 3 feet away from me. Watch.
Well, if that's the case, when he made the call, do you believe their claims that he's even in a prison hospital? And do they even say why?
No.
Okay, I'll take the point. I'll take the point. I'm insane. I'm ICDC 1010. I'm not a hostage. I like this.
Don't believe it. Paul was visited by the...
Point taken. Don't believe it. Just bring your motherfucking ass to a courtroom before or after.
U.S. Embassy staff, they said he looked very healthy on November 16th. And then according to the prison, thanks to the U.S. Embassy calling them, they said that they moved Paul to a prison hospital on November 18th. And there's just no reason that he would have had to have gone for medical attention unless there had been an emergency. But he was able to call our parents on the 17th, on the 18th, and so on until the 23rd, and never mentioned that he'd been moved, never mentioned having a health issue. So I think there's something else going on here. And I think it's up to the Russian government to show that Paul is where he's supposed to.
Would only be used sparingly.
We have somebody who's shooting, killing people, a sniper, etc. We're going to do everything we can to stop the threat.
The city's Board of Supervisors voted overwhelmingly in favor of the idea Monday night. But those against it raised ethical concerns and cited the impact on people of color.
You got to recognize they will be
I'm gonna
used
fuck a face up.
For the last decade,
Give a
the
fuck what
militarization of
color
police
it
has
is.
increasingly been a concern. In
You just
2014,
picked the
heavy
fucking
weaponry in
faggot.
Ferguson, Missouri sparked a backlash after Michael Brown's fatal police shooting. Armed robots are part of that debate. Currently, there are more than 1,000 robots.
Did you get that point? I'm going to fuck up a face. on this floor.
It's an unmanned vehicles in use by police departments, primarily by bomb squads. The policies in cities like San Francisco could clear the way for an expanded use of robots as weapons. One of the first such incidents happened in 2016, when Dallas police deployed one against a suspect who had gunned down 5 police officers. In a statement today, San Francisco police acknowledged that it does not have a specific plan in place on when to use armed robots.
If we get to a point where
Any random face
that you should be able to get up to 7 days for paid leave if you're sick.
And what happens if this doesn't go through? Because it sounds like an economic catastrophe is just ahead.
It is.
It
But
is
the question
just
for
ahead.
this country is if we're going to avert economic.
I try to leave as much as I can. 'Cause it's just ahead.
Economic catastrophe, should the burden always fall on the working class? Should we always tell them just be fine with it? Or should we at some point say no, the burden has to fall on the people who are the railroad executives who are making millions of dollars? Why not claw back some of that money and put it into paid sick leave? And that's why I think people are.
Good afternoon, Courtney. I doubt if you can. I informed the Social Security Administration that I needed emergency processing of my critical payment processing, critical payment evidence due to, yeah.